Right now on 10 News at 11.
Another fire in LA County explodes hundreds of acres in just a couple of hours. The massive firefight underway as flames threaten even more homes.
A student's Halloween prank ends badly and lands him in the hospital. The mischievous act and ensuing chase that was all caught on camera.
Hey, parole.
Parole officers going door to door tonight, but not asking for candy. 10 News tags along as those officers check on convicted predators.
10 News begins with breaking news.
A man dressed for Halloween rushed to the hospital after accidentally setting himself on fire. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our photojournalist Paul Anderegg is live in our 10 News breaking news tracker. So Paul, we understand his neighbors rushed in to help him.
Yeah, several neighbors rushed to help as they watched that man come out of this garage, which you can see the damage that's left on it here shortly before 9 p.m. tonight. Let's go to some video of what the scene looked like earlier. Now, we talked to the battalion chief and some witnesses that were on scene. That man was set on fire by, they believe, a jack-o'-lantern. That's a pumpkin with a candle inside. That man was wearing a Halloween costume, which described as a Gia suit. That's one of those that you kind of see sometimes in the movies where a sniper will wear those, that it looks made to look like they're a bush. The battalion chief said that that was a homemade suit. We're not sure exactly what it was made out of, but obviously not any sort of fireproof materials, as he went up in flames, head to toe in flames, running outside. To try to put out that fire with a garden hose and some fire extinguishers, while the daughter of the victim and one of her friends were able to assist him back into the house until firefighters arrived. And when firefighters got here, they were able to get that fire knocked down pretty quickly. That man was transported to UCSD Burn Center. We're being told he has burns to over 50% of his body, and some of those are third-degree burns, so obviously very serious injuries. We're going to stay on scene here and continue to try to get more information for you and bring that to you on 10 News this morning. Back to you.
All right, a serious situation there, Paul. Thank you. Breaking news now, a wind-driven fire that started on a ridge in Ventura County is spreading quickly. Over 250 firefighters are battling the Morea Fire near Santa Paula. Over the past few hours, it exploded to 4,000 acres. Mandatory evacuations have been ordered for more than 7,500 people as winds push the fire west. Ventura County Fire says multiple crews are working to protect homes and structures which are threatened by the flames.
A woman fights off an attacker, then runs up a steep hill for help. Neighbors then help that woman who says someone tried to sexually assault her. Our 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is live in Birdland, and neighbors say she was frantic when they finally found her. Anthony.
That's right. She was upset and she was terrified. She had scratches all over her arms. Now, those neighbors, they didn't want to talk to us on camera, but they did take us out back, showed us the canyon behind these homes and how that woman ended up in their backyard. This is the canyon where an assault victim made her escape, climbing the steep, brushy terrain into a backyard on the 7900 block of Canary Way.
And we saw a fire truck. He parked right over here, and then 2 police cars.
Ken Gust says his neighbors were the ones that called 911 to help the woman. They tell us that the woman said she was homeless. She ran up this canyon after a man wearing a mask and a hood tried to sexually assault her, but she was able to fight him off. Police searched the area with a helicopter but didn't find anyone. But neighbors say there are homeless living in the canyon behind their homes.
I try to keep my area clean and try to keep it so there's no trails back there. And we don't have a lot of people coming up, but every now and then a few do, and apparently this is what happened this evening.
Now, neighbors tell us that they didn't notice any other physical injuries on the woman aside from the scratches on her arms. They did also notice that she was carrying a pocket knife with her. She was taken to the hospital and police are investigating this incident. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Anthony, thank you. Thousands across the county are getting their power restored now that red flag warning has expired. 10 News drove along the 8 to see how communities out east were handling the outages and the high winds. The VFW in Alpine reopened just in time for those trick-or-treaters. People there were worried the outages would prevent them from hosting their Halloween party.
We've gotten so many phone calls. Everyone's asking all over Facebook. We've had updates on our Facebook like, power's back on, everyone come on in.
Well, the winds have died down, but the temperatures are now dipping.
Meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking just how cold those temperatures will get overnight, how quickly things change.
Oh, so quickly. 30s and even some 20s for tonight. Here's what it's like right now around the county. 44 degrees in Oceanside. Temperatures are still in the upper 50s in downtown San Diego, but over towards the east, 45 degrees in Mount Laguna and also 45 in Ramona. A freeze warning will begin at midnight and it will continue through 10 o'clock in the morning. The coldest areas will be down in the 30s. We'll see some 20s in the higher elevations. And even down in the deserts, temperatures will be dipping down into the 30s. So if you have any sensitive plants, you may want to bring those indoors, maybe cover them. Also make sure to turn off sprinklers. And if you have anything that has been running water, make sure to turn it off because it could impact the pipes as well.
Angelica, thank you. Tonight, crews are battling 2 other fires in Southern California. In Riverside County, the fire in Jurupa Valley has burned about 300 acres and destroyed at least 6 homes and structures. It started overnight when a car caught fire at the end of a police chase. It's now about 50% contained. In San Bernardino, evacuation orders have been lifted in the Hillside Fire. It destroyed 6 homes and burned 200 acres. It's also 50% contained. And things are looking better in Northern California. The Kincaid fire is now 65% contained, and most mandatory evacuation orders have been lifted. It's burned more than 77,000 acres and destroyed 141 homes.
New video coming out of LA and Riverside counties shows just how ferocious these fires are. Embers from the 46 fire in Riverside County rained down on these horses, their owners racing to get them to safety. Meantime, it was a frantic scene at this pet shelter as volunteers rescued more than 90 cats and dogs. As people fled, crews battled the fire with little sleep.
Most of our crews and some of the people that I've already talked to that are out here today had minimal sleep, maybe an hour or two at best last night, and they're right back out here.
Even as the winds die down, firefighters will remain on alert for any new fires that spark. More than a dozen fires have broken out in the area just in the last 24 hours. And we send out alerts about all significant fires on the 10 News mobile app. A free version is available to download in the App Store.
New at 11, a high school student in a gorilla costume was taken to the hospital after a prank that ended very badly. Our 10 News reporter Matt Boone spoke to students at Montgomery High School in Otay Mesa who say that the teenager in the costume was being chased by school staff for a good reason.
Yeah, well, it's Halloween. Strange stuff definitely can happen, but students who saw this tell me they think it seemed more like an intentional attack against an associate principal that then got even more out of hand.
It was right here in this hallway right here.
Before heading out to trick or treat, students were still talking about the lunchtime antics involving an egg, a principal, and a gorilla.
He put on a gorilla costume, then he went to the AP, grabbed an egg and shoved it in his head, and then cracked.
Guillermo Cuevas says he watched it happen, showing video posted to social media of the student running up to an associate principal, apparently cracking an egg on his head.
He doesn't really like teachers here, well, in my opinion.
The student kept running but was pursued by school staff who followed behind in a golf cart, eventually catching up to him in a park across the street, where Cuevas says he appeared to be hit by the cart.
I seen it, but it wasn't really like a run over, it was like a little bump, and then he just fell because he was running away.
The student was taken to the hospital to be evaluated and was discharged later in the afternoon. A spokesperson for Sweetwater Union High School District declined to provide any details, deferring to police who say they're treating this as a potential battery investigation. Students say they think his future at school is clear.
Suspension or expelled?
Though unclear if he still made it out trick-or-treating. In West Otay Mesa, Matt Boone, 10 News.
The House passed a resolution today that formalized the impeachment inquiry into President Trump. It comes as a second National Security Council official arrived on Capitol Hill testifying behind closed doors. The impeachment investigation will now move to public hearings. The resolution will allow President Trump and his attorneys to mount their own defense. Republicans will have to get Democratic agreement to call their own witnesses. Despite cries from Republicans, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the president is getting due process by the rules.
These rules are fairer than anything that have gone before in terms of an impeachment proceeding.
This is the third time in history the House voted on the impeachment inquiry of a sitting president. After the vote, President Trump called it another witch hunt. Happening tonight, going door to door on Halloween, patrol officers and parole officers making sure that sex offenders stay inside and away from trick-or-treaters. 10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle rode along for Operation Boo.
This is what Halloween is all about. Decorations, candy, and kids. But where we went, none of that was allowed.
Thursday night, these parole agents had 7 targets.
State parole.
Ensuring no kids come knocking.
The gates were closed, lights are turned off. They kind of know what's expected of them.
We drove all over, National City to City Heights to the harbor.
Is it unlocked?
In 26 years of Operation Boo, agents are still making arrests.
Most of the time they're compliant. Occasionally somebody has to go back to jail, but we just try to hold them accountable for their conditions. Are you the only one home?
This time, everyone checked out.
And I'll see you soon.
One parolee, Eleazar, said he's excited to take the next step after his release.
Oh, I feel fantastic. The program is great. State parole is great. It's definitely worth it. And I think all of this at taxpayers' expense. They're getting their money's worth. I'll tell you that.
Hey, how's it going?
Though not everyone was as welcoming.
Okay, that's it.
Operation Boo is a small part of agents' duties checking in on parolees. Wednesday, officers made 5 arrests in North County.
All to ensure that kids have a happy and safe Halloween. Reporting in Mission Hills, Cassie Carlisle, 10 News.